Coming up today here on the Raiders Report, is Rob Gronkowski going to come out of retirement, and could he join the Las Vegas Raiders? I'm telling you right now, I can't believe that we're still talking about this, but the source, you got to wait and see what this story is. The Raiders, are they not showing any love to Ashton, Jeanty? I mean, this has been a running back that's been connected to the Silver and Black. He was connected even in Mel Kiper's latest mock draft, but for people that want the Raiders to draft Jeanty, you got to hear something interesting from the Combine. And then at the end of today's show, I'm going to go through all the news from the NFL Combine that the nation needs to see. I'm trying to get to 188,000 subscribers here on this show, and we need 260 more to do so. If you appreciate free content every single day, make sure that subscribe button is clicked. Make sure those notifications are turned on. And if you haven't already, share this show with more Raiders fans. I'm trying to grow this family, and this week losing Brandon Jasper, man, it shows me that this is so much more than a YouTube channel. We are building a beautiful, beautiful community. To Brandon, RIP forever. To Kristen, Brandon's significant other, we always got your back. But I mean this. Let's keep growing this Raiders family. So if you haven't seen the latest on Rob Gronkowski, according to Cecil Lammey, who is a Broncos beat reporter, Gronk may want to return to the NFL. For those that do not remember, Gronk retired in 2019, but returned in 2020, where he ended up rejoining Tom Brady down in Tampa Bay. Here's the thing, though. Gronk hasn't played in the NFL since 2021. He's 35 years old, and when he did play, he was battling a lot of injuries, and I don't know if you guys have seen Gronkowski recently. Sounds like he's trying to get back into NFL shape, and for him to be trying to get back into shape at 35, it does pique my interest because Travis Kelce is 34, 35 years old. Here's what Cecil Lammey had to say. Sources tell me Gronkowski has been working out in Vail this offseason as he wants to physically be ready for another NFL season. High-altitude training in the offseason could help him prepare for the rigors of training camp if a team shows interest. At age 35, and with a few years of rest on his body, Gronkowski may be better suited for a return than some think. So when I saw the report around Rob Gronkowski potentially coming back to the NFL, I'm not going to lie to you, the first thing I thought of was, could he just rejoin Tom Brady yet again with the Las Vegas Raiders? Cecil Lammey, on the other hand, though, is making it seem like Gronk wants to go play for the Denver Broncos. So whether he joins Las Vegas, whether he wants to return to the NFL, or whether he joins Denver, I mean, that's something that we got to keep an eye on because if I'm the Broncos, I would want to bring Gronk in just to get a little bit of an inside track of what your competitors are doing in the AFC West because Gronk and Brady are so close. But it sounds like, he worked with Sean Payton at Fox. He was told that Denver, he likes that situation. He likes the Bo Nix quarterback situation. And two of his brothers, Dan and Chris, had short stints with the team on top of that. But I don't see Gronk joining Denver. To me, the only way Rob Gronkowski is going to come out of retirement is if he can join Tom Brady again, or he can join John Spytek down in Tampa Bay, where he was also able to win a Super Bowl. Because Gronk played 11 years of his career, all of which are Tom Brady. And Brady and Gronk are legitimately like best friends. And they joke around, and Gronk's one of these jokey type of guys. But Brady and Gronk are extremely, extremely close friends. So for the fact that he retired in 2019 and then he came out of retirement to then go join Tom Brady in Tampa tells me that Brady was able to convince him one time. Spytek was able to convince Brady. Maybe it can happen again. 4 Super Bowl titles, all with Tom Brady, 3 in New England, 1 with Tampa Bay. When you hear the report, Rob Gronkowski might come out of retirement and to play in the NFL again, I'm sorry. If you don't think instantly that the Raiders are going to be a team linked to Gronk, I think that you are flipping crazy. So here's my question, and this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. The number one question that I want y'all to answer. If Gronk wanted to play on the Raiders, and he wanted to come out of retirement, would you be open to it? Give me a yes. Give me a no. My answer is going to be coming up here right after this YouTube ad break. I'm going to say yes, but only as the tight end 3 on the current Raiders roster. I know what Gronk provides. Like, from somebody who does this for a living as a content creator, putting Rob Gronkowski on a video I know is going to do well because people are interested to see what happens around Gronk. But then I also got to think from the Raiders standpoint, a John Spytek, Tom Brady, Pete Carroll standpoint, and overall what's best for this organization. My fear is if the Raiders go out and they sign Gronk, what does that mean for a Michael Mayer? And Mayer's not a free agent, by the way. I don't know why that graphic says that. But Mayer's not a free agent, and I know that Brock Bowers is going to be the tight end one. Harrison Bryant is, in fact, a free agent. But if the idea is to bring in Rob Gronkowski at 35 years old to take away from Michael Mayer, that's just not something that I want this Raiders organization to do. Being able to develop two young tight ends in Brock Bowers and Mayer is more important to me than bringing in Rob Gronkowski. Now, don't get me wrong. If Gronk looks like the Gronk that we were used to seeing in New England in that final year in Tampa Bay, and he helps us win a Super Bowl, well, then, of course, it was worth it. But I just don't think that 35-year-old Gronkowski, who hasn't played in the NFL since 2021, is going to be able to be that solid of a player where we go, let's abandon developing Michael Mayer and let's concentrate on Rob Gronkowski, because Mayer does still need to develop. But this is a player that I thought should have been drafted in round 1 in 2023, has had to deal with 2 now, going on his 3rd different regime, and I know he was away from the Raiders a lot last season. But we kept Luke Steckel, who is a phenomenal tight end coach. And if Chip Kelly is somebody who is, credited as being this offensive-minded guru, and if Tom Brady is somebody that was able to really help get 2 tight end systems going, 12 personnel, back at his time with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, why can't we figure out a way to get Michael Mayer involved with somebody like Brock Bowers? Because if you were to look at just pure talent, and I think talent right now, I think Michael Mayer is better suited as a tight end 2 for the Raiders than somebody like Rob Gronkowski, because I don't know if Gronk's going to be able to block. I don't know if he's going to be able to do some of the dirty work. And if you're going to bring in Gronk, he better not take away from Brock Bowers. Like, at the end of the day, if we're putting out 10 targets at the tight end position, I'm okay with 9 or 10 of those bad boys going to Brock Bowers. I don't want those targets to go to Gronk. I want those to go to our young players that we are trying to develop for the long haul. So is the story fun? Yes. Could the Raiders show interest? Sure. And it won't surprise me if they do because of the Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski connection. But if the idea is to bring in Gronk and take away from the development of Michael Mayer, then I'm not interested. If it's to bring him in as a tight end 3 to help really get this culture going and build it the way that way, then yeah, I am okay with the idea of going out and getting Rob Gronkowski. Tight end 3 or nothing on the Raiders. Let's go to the next story here, and it's around Ashton Jeanty. And do the Raiders maybe not like Jeanty as much as what some of us think that we are? So Jeanty said today at the Combine that he doesn't have a Combine meeting scheduled with the Raiders. Today, John Spytek spoke about the depth at the running back position. For the Raiders, we know that they want to run the football, and Jeanty is the top running back in this year's class. Could the Raiders potentially not, and I don't want to use the word waste their time, because Jeanty, no doubt, is a top 10 talent. Jeanty is no doubt, to me, the top running back in this year's class. But if you were John Spytek and Pete Carroll and you already knew that you weren't going to take a running back at pick number 6, would you, in a sense, waste that meeting with a player that you just know that you're not going to go out there and get? Because for a team that knows that they're going to run the football and knows they're going to run the football a lot, I would imagine that they're going to try to meet with as many running backs as humanly possible. And I wanted to talk about this because Jeanty continuously gets mocked to the Raiders all the time. Here is Mel Kiper's latest mock draft, which was on February 25th, and he had the Raiders taking Ashton Jeanty over quarterback Shedeur Sanders. And I think when you see that, that's a very eye-popping thing, because most of us would imagine that the Raiders would take a quarterback and not a running back. Maybe Mel knows something, but then also, if they don't even have a Combine visit with them, maybe the Raiders just aren't interested. But here's what Mel Kiper had to say on the Raiders drafting Ashton Jeanty. Look at what happened when the Raiders missed out on the quarterbacks last year. They landed Brock Bowers, who looks like a star at tight end. Now, they have the chance to add another one in Jeanty and clean up the league's worst running game at 3.6 yards per carry in 2024. And speaking of Carroll, remember his background? He leaned on the run game in Seattle for years, and he even used a first-round pick on Rashad Penny in 2018. Jeanty brings it all: speed, power, elusiveness, contact, balance, and vision. He ran for 2,601 yards this past season, and he can make a dent as a pass catcher on top of all that. Las Vegas can advance the offense by getting yet another elite playmaker into the fold and looking elsewhere for a more stable quarterback solution. So I know Jeanty is a name that gets thrown out there a lot, and I wanted to be able to talk about it because if the Raiders don't have a combine meeting, maybe that means that they're not interested. Because I can remember last year when I sat up here on this show and I said the Raiders are meeting with Brock Bowers. And everybody was sitting here going, why are they meeting with Bowers? They already have Michael Mayer. Teams meet with players at the combine that they are interested in. If the Raiders just go, I'm not interested in meeting Ashton Jeanty at all, that kind of makes me think that they're not interested in taking him at number 6. It's just a story to be able to look at, to be able to figure out as we continue to move forward of what the Silver and Black could do at pick number 6. Coming up next here on the show, let's get into the NFL news that you need to know from the Combine. Now, at the time that I'm recording this video, it is February 25th. For most of you that aren't watching this live, you are going to see this on the 26th. But I still wanted to be able to provide just some NFL news dump content that we're getting so much information at the Combine because our team is in Indy that I just wanted to share to you a lot of the NFL news that we are getting. Before I get to that, though, if anybody has ever considered themselves a real one, if anybody has ever considered themselves a Raiders Report OG, well, the Raiders Report was founded back in 2018, and we just celebrated our 7th birthday here on this show. If you love the Raiders Report and you want to get some swagger, go to chatsports.com/RO4L. That one stands for Real One for Life. We always say Raider Nation for life because it's a thing and it's a family. Here at Chat Sports, one of the things that I am the most proud of in my living existence is the company that we've been able to build here at Chat Sports, right? When I first started, we were 4 people. 4 people. Now, we've got 32 full-time employees, and we got a lot of people working hard where even on a day like Chuggs can't make it in, we're able to get read. We're able to send people down to the NFL Combine. Why? Because we got a bunch of real ones that rock with all of our shows. And real one is a term that we use here at Chat Sports that just simply think about your family members. Think about your friends. If you had a flat tire, you pick up the phone and you call somebody. A real one shows up for you. Somebody who's not a real one doesn't show up. And I've seen the amount of real ones we've had today on this show for Brandon Jasper. A lot of real ones. So if you're a real one, chatsports.com/RO4L. That link's down in the comments and in the description of today's show if you want some Raiders Report swag. So here's some of the NFL news that happened today that I wanted to be able to share with you. Jonathan Allen, the Washington Commanders have granted him permission to seek a trade. If the Raiders wanted to trade for him, he's like 30-something years old, but it's going to cost you about $15-16 million you'd have to pay him, which for me personally, defensive tackle is really deep this year. I'm not interested. The Atlanta Falcons, they had a report that said that they are interested and that they plan on keeping Kirk Cousins as a backup quarterback, which has kind of gone against everything that has already been reported. Personally, I think Atlanta is just saying this because they don't want teams to just think that they're going to cut him. They still want a team to try to go out and trade for him, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not buying it. The Tennessee Titans have said that they have received trade calls for the number 1 pick. One of the teams that it's already been said that has picked up the phone and called about that number 1 pick, the Las Vegas Raiders. John Spytek mentioned Cam Ward by name in his press conference on today, on the 25th. And on the 24th, a report came out that the Raiders could potentially trade up for Cam Ward at number 1. Lot of smoke around this story right here. Tyreek Hill, he had wrist surgery today, which, again, it's Tyreek Hill. It's a big-name player. More news, though. I forget what the next one is. I think it's around Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce said that he's going to be returning to the NFL, and there was some speculation that he could end up hanging up his cleats, decided to retire, go get married to Taylor Swift, blah, 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 blah. Sounds like Travis Kelce, though, is going to be coming back for another season, which, again, Travis Kelce is the same age as Rob Gronkowski. Minnesota is still talking to Sam Darnold, and there is a chance that they give him that franchise tag, which if they do, that means the Raiders have to trade 2 first-round picks for him. Not going to happen. If the Minnesota Vikings tag Sam Darnold, Keep an eye out for J.J. McCarthy, but then also some of these other QBs on the open market, like a Justin Fields, that price tag is going to go up. Khalil Shakir ended up signing the 4-year, $60 million extension, and if I'm somebody like Jacoby Myers, the reason why I bring this up is because if I'm Jacoby, again, different style of player, but if Khalil Shakir is out here getting about $15 million a year, I think Jacoby Myers is also going to be in that $15 to $18 million a year. He's got $0 million remaining on his contract, and he would be interested in getting a new deal. Cleveland doesn't want to trade Myles Garrett. They continuously say they have no interest in trading Garrett. One of our guys, our host here at Chat Sports for the Browns, actually asked the Browns, I believe, head coach today, what his plans were at quarterback to keep Myles Garrett around. Didn't sound like there was a lot of confidence in that answer. The Rams literally had a report today from Diana Rossini that said that if they trade Matthew Stafford, they view Jimmy Garoppolo as a potential starting quarterback option. Sean McVay, go ahead. I dare you. I dare you, because if you want to prove that you are the best head coach in the NFL, you can win football games with Jimmy G, because I watched Jimmy G play. You ain't winning many games with Jimmy G. The final thing is this. Jamar Chase is going to get a big payday. And it was reported today by, I forget who it was on the Cincinnati Bengals exactly, but I believe it was the director of player personnel for the Bengals, said that they are working right now to make Jamar Chase the highest paid player that's not a quarterback in the NFL, which is going to surpass $35 million per year for Justin Jefferson. I think Jamar Chase is going to be in this $37 to $38 million range, which, I kind of laugh for Cincinnati because they were unable to win with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase on a cheaper contract, T. Higgins on a cheaper contract. And now they're going to try to go out and bring both these guys back and then have even maybe less to pay that defense that was already bad. That was the big NFL news that I saw today on February 25th. Again, crazy around Gronk. We'll see what's happening around Jeanty. But for more news around the NFL from the Combine and more Raiders content, make sure you're subscribed for videos every single day.